Hello everyone, today is Wednesday, May 4th, 2022 at 6:44 a.m. So I don't know if you hear that commotion and noise. The neighbor next door was just doing a whole bunch of banging, and probably the first 5 seconds you probably heard some banging and noise. And as I said, it's like now it's 6:45 a.m. in the morning, and at the deep beginning of the video you may have heard a little noise. So now all attacks cease once I press record and start filming. So it's been light outside for quite a while. So it's light enough that I almost thought it was 8 o'clock, but no. So this is forced sleep deprivation. That my sleep was kind of spotty last night. And let's see, what time I went to bed. Well, I started to go to bed at 10:30 or 11 o'clock, but then I got up and brushed my teeth and stuff, and tried to drink me some more water to try to meet the quota of drinking enough liquids throughout the day. And so I was like, I try to drink enough liquids throughout the day. And so then like I actually went to bed. Oh man, what time was it? I guess it was probably just before midnight then. I think I finally went to bed and stuff, but trying to sleep, I don't think I did as much twisting and turning last night, but I did some twisting and turning. And my sleep was kind of spotty, but I got a little more sleep. But here they forced me to wake up with loud banging and door slamming and stuff. He was doing door slamming and doing some weird banging. But again, well, I'm supposed to be about to leave on excuse me. I'm supposed to be about to leave on Friday, so I guess it's probably pointless to even report or talk about. I mean, for me to go and tell on them or anything like that. And I keep on forgetting anyway. Like yesterday, I forgot to tell on them. But it's like you're a grown man older than me, and you walk around with those big ass dogs with no leash, and they be aggressive and about to attack people. So, and I keep on forgetting, just like with the blue truck perp, I just kept on forgetting a lot. And even with that, it's like I'm just glad that the blue truck perp is gone. He was annoying as fuck. So I really do have some doggone neighbors from hell. You always get the neighbors from hell if you're a targeted individual, and people end up homeless and stuff like that. Because I was trying to figure out what the hell was going on. And it's like, I really felt like when I had Section 8 and the place to live and stuff, I felt traumatized by having neighbors. I felt traumatized by having neighbors and wondering, you know, what is the way out of this? You know, if they make sure that I'm not rich enough to get to own my own damn house separate from everybody, or, you know, they make sure I couldn't live in a rural area where your next door neighbor is a 15 minutes drive away from you and stuff. So, yeah, if you live out in the country, your next door neighbor, the closest, well, I'm not going to say next door, but the closest neighbor is like a whole 10, 15 minute drive away from you and stuff like that. And it's like that. I don't even know if it's safe to say that Miss Lisa Ruby was considered a human trafficker. But she damn sure tricked me with her website with a lot of truth on it. She had a lot of truth on her website, though. But it's like, even with the women, people are not who they say they are on the internet. It's like, if they'll show like they're truthers and speak against the Illuminati and stuff like that, or the New World Order. And I remember a few years ago, like it was 2015, I think, Miss Lisa, when I was down there in Travelers Rest, South Carolina, which is part of Greenville, and she was trying to get me to, you know, she actually wanted me to break my lease and get out of there, you know, just for this fake deliverance ministry. And she basically, you know, set me up. And then I ended up homeless on the streets for 9 days. And, you know, this fake and that's why anybody, like, I'm still traumatized by that. And people want to try to say, well, you can only be traumatized for so long, or you need to get over that, you know. And so it's like, I avoid deliverance ministries, like all deliverance ministries. I stay away from y'all. Anybody who want to talk about speaking in tongues or deliverance ministry, or, you know, well, she didn't speak in tongues, but, you know, anything Pentecostal related, I'm staying away from y'all, you know. Or anybody want to talk about casting out demons, I stay away from y'all. You know, I stay away from all y'all if y'all try to be like that, you know. So I also was going through some stuff too, because there was a point in time that I thought she was the cause of having something to do with them vibrating me. Well, I mean, I haven't met her in person, but it's like she was love bombing me and buying me all this stuff, like, before I got down there. And like, she bought me a laptop, and I told her, you know, I really didn't want her to buy me these, you know, whatever gifts, because if she seemed like as if she had like an agenda or a hidden motive or something. But it was before I found out about narcissism, narcissistic abuse, and you know, love bombing and all their tactics and stuff like that. And yeah, she was like ordering stuff for me on Amazon Prime, and just order what she wanted me to have. And she was very manipulative, abusive, and controlling, and certain things she said didn't add up, or they weren't really consistent. And when I questioned or confronted her about it, I got met with hostility and belligerence and stuff like that, you know. And so people would have considered her to be like, she was on the, I mean, which a lot of conspiracy is true, you know, but she was on the she was featured on this website called Encyclopedia of American Loons. But see, I thought because she was a woman, I thought that I would be safe with her, and I thought she had good intentions. And I was still somewhat new and learning as a Christian and, spiritually in laws and, trying to figure stuff out. And dealing with her and Tracy Broadhurst, Miss Tracy Broadhurst, I mean, people would have considered Miss Tracy strange because Miss Tracy would do stuff like, nowadays it's 2022 and she was, but like as far back as 2015, she was still using like a landline phone and said, well, I don't use a cell phone because it's GMO or something like that, But if people would be considered doing the right thing or a good thing by still using a landline and not because how toxic cell phones are and stuff like that. And, it's not, I understand cell phones ain't healthy and all the technology, it ain't healthy. And she would, she had an email and emailed me a couple of times, but she would prefer to mainly do stuff like write physical letters and expect me to correspond the same way, writing physical letters. And so she would be fake nice on the phone and talk on the phone with me like for like 3 hours or so. But then Miss Tracy would have all these like nasty tell-off letters, these nasty, hateful tell-off letters, telling me off about myself and telling me that she tried to say that like when I told her that all the stuff that she said hurts my feelings and stuff. So her last response was another nasty tell-off letter and told me, as long as you continue to remain a perpetual helpless victim, then you're going to lose any good friend you might well have. But nasty tell-off letters, when you don't even really know me that well, I'm just trying to ask for advice and help and stuff. I mean, how is that being a good friend by trying to, falsely accuse me of, how did she put it? She tried to tell me I'm a witch and a worker with familiar spirits and a lover of devils and stuff like that. And it's like, all because I said I was abused as a child. And it's like, and so Miss Lisa Ruby, she tried to make it like as if I was, that because when I talked about the foster mom's abuse and the foster brother Joe's beatings and everything like that, when I talked about their abuse and stuff, Miss Lisa Ruby tried to make it like, well, you're the one who's full of demons, and so therefore you got to get them cast out, because she tried to make it like as if like the fake deliverance people who want to talk about casting out demons, they want to try to make like the one being abused is the one filled with demons. And I'm like, well, it's not fair. How come this not the one doing the abusing is the one that's full of demons? So Miss Lisa used all my traumas, and I've dealt with this too, even recently. I'm gonna talk about that too one day. People who get you to let your guard down and feel comfortable with telling them everything. They want you to feel comfortable with telling them everything. And, leads you on to think that in the beginning that nothing you do or say bothers them. And everything's okay. And I'll be like checking for reassurance, like, well, are you sure I'm not getting on your nerves? And stuff like that, So then after a while, they start to act intolerant of everything about you. And so Miss Lisa would even show signs of abuse and control before I even went to Greenville, South Carolina. And at first, I just went over there to visit, but when I went down there in New Orleans to go visit the mentally slow, crazy biological family in 2015, I had not seen the family since I haven't seen the family in 5 years. And the last time I saw them, before 2015, last time I've been to New Orleans or last time I saw family was in 2010, and for Labor Day. And the biological gay brother Mark tried to bully me against going there. But then one time in 2011, he was perping me in 2010 when he tried to talk about some happy trails. And I'm like, happy trails? What are you talking about? You know? And he thought it was funny talking about some happy trails. Like he was perping me as if he was hoping that I die when I go down there or something in 2010. And so 2010, the biological sister Ramona had, she took advantage of almost $400 from me and went to gamble it all right in front of my face. And how the hell you go to the casino and within less than 5 minutes, you're out of $375. And then, I was feeling suicidal, depressed all of 2010. And I didn't know God. I didn't. I'm feeling depressed nowadays. I just wrote a blog last night about being depressed. About feeling depressed. And I even have been saying in YouTube videos that, I'm feeling depressed. But now that I know about the gang stalking program and stuff, I'm strong enough. I'm still depressed and stuff, but I'm strong enough to not do. And plus, I'm traumatized by my own past suicide attempts. So, I'm strong enough to not resort to doing that. And especially, I know better now that the gang stalkers, that one of their goals is to try to get you to commit suicide or set you up to get locked up and stuff like that, So, now I know better not to do that. And plus, I, traumatized by my past suicide attempts. So, I'm going to not do that no more, So, but after Ramona did that to me, taking all my money like that, and another close family member tried that with me earlier that year. It's all I'm good for is to be used. So, I had some other stuff go on, and so that Ramona, lying to me and not paying me back, she is dirty and fucked up enough that she took money from me, the biological mom Frances, and the biological brother Sean. And so, and she just didn't care about our feelings or nothing like that. I'm almost on the verge of crying just talking and thinking about it. And so she had all three of us frustrated enough to the point that all three of us were fucking suicidal. So I don't even know if she was trying to sacrifice all three of us, because death comes in threes. If they try to sacrifice you in threes and stuff like that, if she was trying to, kill 3 birds with 1 stone. Because Ramona, it's I got a lot of family members that are not to be trusted. I can't trust none of my family members. And so Ramona is the conspiracy behind why the biological mom, Frances, ended up, she got disgusted and frustrated and, was homeless on the streets for a couple of days. And that wouldn't have been like her. And I was in Los Angeles. No, not Los Angeles yet. I was in Denton, Texas when I heard about this. I was in Los Angeles when I found out she died. But the biological mom, Frances, she was homeless on the streets for a couple of days. And she was disgusted and frustrated with Ramona, because I heard that Ramona's boyfriend, Elliot, Ramona sat there and let Elliot have the fake authority to kick the biological mom, Frances, out, and she ended up back on the streets. I'm sorry, not back on the streets. She ended up on the streets like for the first time. I don't think the biological mom, Frances, was really homeless like that, you know. But after a couple of days, she ended up. I was financially trapped in living in Denton, Texas, and the biological mom, Frances, and the biological dad, Arthur, and the biological gay brother, Mark, they all snuck behind my back and moved to New Orleans and didn't even tell me. No, I'm sorry, Mark didn't move back to New Orleans. He moved to Carrollton, Texas, like it's part of the Dallas-Fort Worth area, and been living there since. So, they don't have any other family members out. And oh yeah, my twin sister's in the Dallas-Fort Worth area, somewhere around there. So so Mark, I mean, Mark had yeah, they all moved away from me and left me in Denton by myself. But then they thought it was far-fetched and crazy for me to go and They thought it was far-fetched and crazy for me to go to you know, to Los Angeles after, you know, being raped by Giovanni and ended up in the domestic violence shelter and being perped and abused over there. I didn't realize I was being gang stalked at the time. Then I went to Union Rescue Mission, Separation Torture Mission in Los Angeles. I call Union Rescue Mission, I call it the Separation Torture Mission. And so it's like those people who run in those shelters in Los Angeles, they all sold their soul to the devil, pretending to be Christian, but then they're actually Illuminati and throwing up those hand signs and stuff. So, yeah, I mean, but anyway, back in 2015, Lisa Ruby, what she did to me was she pretended to be a fake rescuer. Because at first I was resisting, saying I didn't even want to go to Greenville, South Carolina. But when I was still trying to figure stuff out, but when I told her about Ramona being abusive to me and stuff, and that was when the biological cousin Blake, it was a year before he died, and he said, well, you know, you're unwanted. What make you think things are going to change? Don't come back down here no more. And my Auntie Yvonne, which is Blake's mom, would say, you know, don't come back down, because I was living in Los Angeles at the time. And she said, don't come back down here no more. And if you do, you go stay in a hotel. But other family members can stay by Yvonne's house or Ramona's house. Or when the biological mom, Frances, was alive, Frances' house. You know. So everybody else can stay there, even non-relatives. But I'm a relative, and I'm not allowed to stay by Ramona's house or Yvonne's house. And you know, other my Aunt Carolyn off the biological dad Arthur's side, if they didn't put stuff in her head and stuff, I could have stayed by her rather than being on the streets. I could have stayed by that lady that she wanted me to call her Auntie Jane. That's my Aunt Yvonne's husband's cousin. I could have stayed by her, but no, they brainwashed her against me too. So I don't know what lies and false rumors and smear campaigns they put in people's heads. But, you know, I could have even stayed by Daryl Garnett's family members, either one of them. But, no. Or, you know, biological family members off the biological mom, Frances' side. But Ramona deliberately, like my Auntie Betty, my Aunt Lisa and all them, Ramona, she would hide them from me and try to, you know, keep me isolated and not let me to contact or seek out other family members. Now, like, there's more to this family than just my parents and siblings and, you know, Yvonne and her kids. My cousin Rebecca, I'm forbidden to even know her address. I mean, I got all these family members, and because of my niece Monica or my nephew Raymond, ain't no chance in me staying by them, or to prevent being homeless and stuff. But they will open up their home to another friend before a family member, because everything about me, I just a nuisance and drive everybody up the wall. Or I'm just this crazy person, So, so yeah. I mean, that's why I don't like living with nobody, because I don't want people to feel like they gotta walk on eggshells for me, because if I feel like, well, I'm hypersensitive to this, and it's like the gang stalkers, they want to keep me poor, and some people like, oh well, let's do some fasting about it and praying about it, because somebody put roots on you, And so they want to do a fake deliverance session on me and try to make like, well, if we do this deliverance session, then, the fact that there are witches attacking your finances, let's fight in the spirit, and your God will restore your finances. If they'll make it like as if, I'm financially cursed by demons, and that they're the special ones who can have the power to get rid of it. Like Lisa Ruby, a couple of days before me and her had the last final falling out and argument, Miss Lisa Ruby was a damn perp trying to be my handler. And so I got backlash from people, even in Greenville, South Carolina, since everybody blamed me for my situation and stuff like that. That's another reason why I don't want to set foot in the state of South Carolina anymore. But if I were to ever go back, I just wish I can experience Swamp Rabbit Cafe and Paris Mountain State Park and swim in the lake again. That I would love to re-experience those things. Everything else, fuck Greenville, South Carolina. And as so-called Christian as they're supposed to be, they were all oppressive, narcissistic perps over there too. They try to make it like as if it was my fault that I went through what I went through with Lisa Ruby. So at my soonest opportunity, I went back to my hometown, New Orleans, and then ended up with more gang stalking and abuse. And I didn't feel safe around my neighbors. And in Greenville, South Carolina, where I was living at, it was a lot of crime out there too. Down where I was at, a lot of drugs and crime. And it's like, in Greenville, South Carolina, that's supposed to be kind of the country. So it's like, how the hell do I see more drug use and crime in a place like Greenville, South Carolina than I did the Bronx, New York, Brooklyn, New York, Manhattan, New York, New Orleans, Louisiana, Los Angeles, California, or any other place. I didn't even see heavy drug usage when I went down to Miami for a brief moment 2 years ago. So now all of a sudden, in Greenville, South Carolina, I saw just people shooting up in front of my face like it's nothing. And then I was homeless on the streets for a few days, and they had these guys who try to pick me up and drag me to this house. And I fought them off too. But I was sleep deprived, and it didn't even cross my mind to call the police on them. And they had these men who kept on trying to sexually get at me, and tried to act like they thought they sexually owned me and stuff like that. And even the religious narcs, like this light-skinned guy named Wes, he was from Los Angeles but living in Greenville, South Carolina, and even lived in Maine. And he tried to be slick with trying to act like he wanted to come to my apartment and use my computer. But then he wanted sex and stuff like that too. And so I declined him. So then he he got mad at me declining him trying to use my computer. So then he tried to say, trying to bully, harass, and lecture me, telling me that I'm angry and miserable and negative. And narcissistic abusers, they love to call me miserable. They call me negative, and they like to. It's triggering for me when they say, you know what, Candy? You're miserable. Yeah, motherfucker, because you caused it. You caused me to be miserable. That's why. So, trying to bully, harass, and lecture me, talking about me being so miserable and stuff. Well, y'all the masterminds behind my misery. Anybody, if you're deprived from anything, deprived from almost everything in life, you will be miserable too. You can get a job and a car and have a stabilized place to live with no problem, faster than I could. Wes, the library was open. Why you want to come to my place? And you a dude, I'm a female, and I heard he was doing crystal meth, but fronting like he had put on a religious front and he would lie and say he ain't on drugs no more, or like he lied and say he was clean from drugs, yet he was still on drugs. And so then I'm like, why you didn't go to the public library? I mean, you can walk it'll probably take you 10 or 15 minutes to walk to the library. What you need to use my computer for? Because you got an agenda. So, I mean, when I was homeless on the streets, they had this tranny dyke try to act like as if she wanted to try to sexually own me. And it's like, I felt, even if that was an actual guy, that wasn't my type anyway. But it took me a little while for me to catch on, and she really tricked me and had me fooled. But I wouldn't have been, and it's like, I was sleep deprived and annoyed and grossed out with anybody talking to me. Like, I just wanted everybody to stay away from me. And I was forced to be homeless on the streets. And they had they kept lying to me every day, saying that there was no room in the Salvation Army shelter. So I said, look, they have a whole empty room right here. And so that's when they felt intimidated and scared and gave me the room. And then they treated me with extra abuse because they didn't want me there. And then they tried to throw it in my face about how they made that they made special exceptions for me. They try to they throw it in their face about how they got to make special exceptions for me and stuff like that. Or that I want special treatment. Because I try to get a bed to sleep in. Because, and so then they treated me with extra abuse, and then they bullied and mobbed me out of that shelter also. But then I went by the biological brother, fake Krusty Pete's house. He lured me over to Lake Charles, Louisiana, just to abuse me. Then my Section 8 in Greenville finally went through, and the landlady, the apartment manager, she was very shady. And a lot of these apartment landlords, they never answer their phones. So I try to, even when I was in Greenville, South Carolina, I was trying to look for some Airbnb or something. It was not really, it was like Pensacola, not many Airbnb locations, and then it was overpriced. It's like the only Airbnbs they have like here in Pensacola metro area is mainly the VRBO. And I never used Airbnb before. I think I may have created an account one time, but I never actually rented a place through Airbnb. But I thought in New Orleans, I thought they would have had certain Airbnb places that was $20 a night. But then, even then, not so. They jacked up the prices to like $65 a night and stuff like that, so you couldn't really find. And then other people would have that occupied now, so ain't no chance for me to get like an Airbnb. People always talk about, why don't you get a room? Why don't you room? I already told y'all my hindrances with trying to do a room for rent. They always scam you, and if they charge you cheap, like between $400 and $600, they swindle you out of your money, and then you end up in a bed bug room, and then they keep your $400, and then you end up having to fight them and stuff, and then you end up on the streets with nothing and bed bug infested, no place to take a bath, traumatizing, and or if that, it's like people don't want to rent a room to nobody, and they act like they're suspicious of everybody, and they make it like as if, well, you have to have a job, your social security is not enough, you have to have a job, and they act like they're suspicious, and they're narcissistic abusers. They suspicious and don't trust the people. Well, I'm like, well, what's the point of renting rooms out to people? if you don't trust nobody and you feel like the rule is to stay there, like that you're not allowed to come there until after 11 o'clock p.m., and then you have to be gone by 7 or 8, but then they want to charge you $700 and $800 a month just to rent a room. And they want to make sure you have a job. And then you show them they want to, hey, can you show me a picture? I show them a picture of myself, and then they ghost me or go AWOL on me. And so I had to deal with a lot of that too. Like they had a lady in Gulf Breeze who acted like she didn't trust women. And so I showed her my picture. She said she just straight up, refused to accept me to rent a room out of her house. And she also seemed narcissistic, and I figured she would be a problem too. So it's like when you stand up to a narcissistic abuser, they make it like as if you're smothering them, or they gotta walk on eggshells for you, or they make it like as if you demand special treatment, or if they make it like as if they want to be all like, as I say, overt, like narcs who ain't got no shame in their game. They just straight up tell you everything. Oh, you want everybody to cater to you and stuff like that. Or you're trying to seek pity. You're trying to play the victim. You're trying to get attention. All those trigger words, trigger phrases. But then, when covert narcs, fake nice narcs, who eventually they start love bombing you, and then they eventually pull away the rug of emotional support. I've had numerous people do that to me, or they'll flip the narrative about me, and then eventually after I confront them about, hey, well, you're starting to act a certain kind of such and such a way, weird, and then next thing you know, then they act hostile and angry with me and throw it in my face about all their deep buried secret feelings about me. And then it's like the biggest devastation or shock that and I'll be like, I thought you were different from the rest. But they be the first ones to tell you, don't trust no one, don't trust anybody at all, that nobody's to be trusted. They be the first ones to tell you, trust no one. So I mean, but anyway, before I go, I'm surprised I was able to talk this long. I don't even know if I was, because most of the time I be spaced out and, don't even realize that I'm not looking inside the camera sometimes. I'm looking directly at the camera sometimes. And so, well, I have my Social Security check, so financially I'm good for now. But I'm good for now financially, and well, right now, I'm just waiting for Friday, because I'm waiting for Friday. So it's like, ain't no sense in me trying to get groceries if I'm supposed to leave here Friday. Ain't no sense in me trying to get groceries. So yesterday I ran out of the chicken, and today will be my last day. I ran out of the chicken and the canned beans, and I ran out of the chicken and canned beans, and today will be the last day of y'all gonna kick my ass, I know, the ice cream. Today's the last day of the ice cream. It's the last day of the milk and the last day of the juice. And what else? And the last day of the oatmeal. Ice cream, milk, juice, and oatmeal. It's gone. So now, all I will have is like some frozen vegetable Brussels sprouts, and I still got like cheese and tortillas, and I still got a few little canned goods left, and today is also the last day of the sunflower butter. So I'm almost out of that. I'm almost out of the sunflower butter, and almost out of yeah, I'm almost out of the little bit of stuff that I had. But don't worry, y'all. I don't need anything at the moment. I'm good for now. I'm good. I'm good. You know. Man, so I don't feel like the headache of taking the dirty buses, but I want to go to the beach so bad. You know, I want to go to the beach so bad. You know, and I just, you know, I mean, it would be time consuming, and you know, it would be very time consuming for me to get over there to the beach. So now it looks like as if the internet is working, and I can hopefully upload this. And yeah, what time is it now? 7:25. It's still early. So I'm gonna try to see what I can do about preparing to go to the beach and stuff like that, you know. I mean, so I didn't realize that